I place myself in no uncertain order, where I might dream the tonics of illness. The experience was cinematic, alerted night. Waking, one screens in glass, pacing the preservation, seeing below, below. Anatomy of a trance. Go soft into the posture from which a set of antecedents might emerge. A horizontal graze the promise of repair, a difference that facilitates a new narrow passage. Alert. Within 3 days, relatively abrupt dysfunctions may trigger arousal. What corresponds is a kind of salt work, a grey map, a stalk of river, not a sea-to-sky corridor, but a paper cinema. I can't give you a better idea about beauty. Transcript almost certain projection. 1. What looks most like an act of turning away, evasive modeling as regular occurrence, a certainty, a charity that gives activity to the body. Oceanic transfers evoke random transfer effects. 2. Should I not call this conclusion occlusion at best, an adequate measure of separating a contemporary consequence or the maturity, detention of facts? All truant, all breaking with the equation, what is ground? Leaving the question open, leaving that of which all feels necessary, the fade, the function of topology. And am I made of thin volcanic soil like our meal, oiled with light? And banding decoratively about the core, tiny tensions agreeing or aggregating? Am I meant to emit a new meter, occupied with ligature, glimpse architecture, glimpse loss? If you ever went long, laboring, dulled behind great things, that artifact, the empty room. And who will bore the slack body, what uttering phraseology of the stomach? We, under the same public sky, dig in our most wide, yawning, root broadly into the same disaster. The field as body, of fluid ethic, and representative of what new, old, internal struggle, of the unconditioned thing itself, of external manifestation, of temporal flow. What I'm trying to say is that fact is temporary. Because the body is pantheistic, it's deterministic. This is how water beads into. Because it is distinguished, it's conditioned. Because a metaphysical system must propound a metaphysical system. Throw sharps, sharps thrown. In Congress, passing through the live archive, a call for erasure. Some cast in the same overall arrangement, others keen to recognize the gaps. Uncanny likenesses remain uncanny likenesses. This acknowledgement, this is an acknowledgement of injury, open scapes pared down, ajouré. It takes days. Summary, how to endure when all is proprio of one's own making. Things which are impermanent, the haunting stays in the body. The body is an architecture. The method, my dreams flood, too. Everything that is pleasant is turning. I'm going to show you a film piece, and before I do, I'm going to read a statement of what it might be about. Thrownness, or Geworfenheit, is a Heideggerian philosophy. Stems from his concept of Dasein, which is basically a being present, being there. The Dasein condition, a model of urgency, a model of continuous breaking of self upon the world. We are bound and unbound by our placement in the world and the condition of constantly being thrown back in. In essence, we are drawn to a practice of dwelling and of falling. We make up the moment by drafting bits of involuntary memory, projections, and so on. Geworfenheit emerges from werfen, meaning to spin, to turn, to wind, but also to throw and to cast. The throw is where possibility lies. The drafting moment carries the implication of something new. Prehistoric irrigation was lowered into the low roads, a sunken way of walking. Those who have experienced selective mutism almost always speak confidently in some situations. We are thrown in, thrown up. We are heights, lengths, random and without organization, delinquent in stars. For a spontaneous reaction to occur, the charge must be positive and pushing at the overall system. A thing inserted is no less to my consciousness than a thing prepared. Of the bearer, it was known that open galleries resulted in the most pleasure. That time I had a terrible fight in the Metropolitan Opera portrait room at intermission and blamed Pagliacci. These things I call les restes. Etiology of the active state. A better understanding can be found in the performance. Of love, there are two kinds: the syntagmatic, concerning positioning, and the paradigmatic, concerning substitution. I looked around for the garden, and then the sidewalk, and then the intention. A better understanding requires a follow-up study. To be thrown is to be placed in the same predicament again. There is an academy for that. The unspeakable frame, an in-between positioning, a substitution. Therein lies an opening for the text to invite new materials into the frame. A process like this is not spontaneous, it reoccurs. Thrownness is merely static transportation. This relationship allows us to make a prediction. The contributions were toward a study of natural and artificial disappearing. They call this sommeil profond. I confine myself to the physical properties of sleep. The animating spirit, verges on the point of explicit analysis. There is no such thing as completeness. Maps are not unusual places to find representations of life. A person leaves their life to come into your book. Escape as an alternative, restraining device. Cryomai, consult the oracle. Heterotopy means displacement in position or misplacement, from the Greek other place, but can also mean of another kind of place or occasion. Difference causes repetition to deviate. Spalling, the action of dressing stones with force. Buy oranges when you can, make jam with them. Of the bearer, it was known that open galleries resulted in the most pleasure. Course correcting to stay within the limits of the new course. A process like this is not spontaneous, it reoccurs. Aestheticism has achieved archive. It's a full force, that song. There is no such thing as completeness. That particular genesis held me back. Ghost marks make up the archive. A throw produces nothing, does not float, nor defies gravity. The sheltering does not illuminate, but actively lightens and clears. To lighten is neither to glow incandescently, nor to cast light on something else. It is to reduce or remove a burden or inconvenience. Heidegger calls this withdrawal the primary sense of the verb lichten. This relationship allows us to make a prediction about the entropy of the surroundings. The peripatetic system takes into account several movements. Sleep is not one of them. To be thrown is to be placed in the same predicament again. The strain was also present in the controls. A good client takes his package and leaves. Many parts of the trip were ongoing. To abbreviate, oceanic feeling. I never come to this accommodation. The clearing is thin of body, the preliminary companion. Countercurrent to what is preserved in the text. I have a kind of distraction in me, so it was that I became a watcher. Digestion was made more difficult. The combination of the this and this and this and this and this. The imagination can only reorder. This concerns place, voicing, and the peripatetic body. Remainders traverse the open galleries of Passingen work. These are extreme adjacencies that can be endlessly ordered and reordered. We live in that arcade. Category of effect, a thrown one penetrates and passes through. The next time we stop, it will be for a longer break.